Salute. Okay, man, this is a video in response to a tweet. Errol Spence made a tweet the other day talking about how people work hard to pay their rent and to pay their mortgage, and they don't want to hear about people suffering from depression that's rich. He's saying you're a rich person, and he knows that his people before him, had a lot more to be depressed about. And it all was basically around, Danny Garcia using this excuse of depression for the reason why he lost to Errol Spence. So then I woke up this morning and I was, looking at some videos, and the first video that I was seeing was from Rebel Life Boxing. And I'm gonna say this because this ain't no disrespect, but I'm gonna just call it how I see it. First of all, salute to Rebel Life Boxing, and go subscribe to his channel. It's just like Captain Fool G say. Captain Fool G say, sometimes you're gonna make a video, you say something I can salute, you get a thumbs up. If you say something that I disagree with, you're gonna get a thumbs down. And today just happens to be a thumbs down for the Rebel Life Boxing. But go salute and subscribe to his platform. But to me, he's letting his disdainment or the way he feels about Errol Spence to dilute his thought process about this tweet. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about Errol Spence. This is a drunk text or a drunk tweet, and it was like a low blow type of a text message to Danny Garcia, and I just couldn't disagree more. I mean, to me, Danny Garcia, you lost to Errol Spence. Just leave it at that. Fair. Y'all had an even playing field to the best of. You had more advantages going into that fight with Errol Spence. And the way Rebel Light just made light of the car accident, like, oh, people talking about the car accident, like everybody getting in a car accident. Well, yeah, people do get in car accidents, but how many times have we seen in boxing somebody? It's very rare. It happens a few. We got a couple of stories like that Tasmanian dude, whatever his fucking name is off the top, I just can't remember his name, but he broke his neck and had to wear the halo. He came back from a car accident where you have people getting car accidents and they bounce back in life. But Errol Spence coming back from a car accident, we salute it. But you saying like, what if people didn't? You saying in Rebel Life video, he was saying Errol Spence saying nobody gives a fuck about Danny Garcia depression. What if nobody said they gave a fuck about Errol Spence when he went through his car accident? Or what if nobody said they gave a fuck when Errol Spence went through his eye detached retina? And I'm like, dude, there was plenty of people that said we didn't give a fuck about him when he got into his car accident. How many people, when he got into his car accident, how many people was like, man, you just got into a car accident, you know what I'm saying, so you didn't have to fight Terrence Bud Crawford? How many people saying lame shit like that? Like, this man almost lost his life, and people just equated that to, oh, you just scared to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Same thing. There's plenty of people that didn't give a fuck when he had the detached retina. Plenty of people didn't give a fuck about that. And when he had his detached retina, so many people just came out, oh, show me proof. You just scared to fight Manny Pacquiao. You scared to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. That eye detached retina is a bunch of bullshit. There's plenty of people that didn't give a fuck about Errol Spence when he got in his car accident or when he detached his retina. You know what I'm saying? That's just people. There's going to be some people that's going to have empathy and sympathy, and some people that don't give a fuck, no matter what you go through. So the thing about it is Danny Garcia using an excuse of this depression. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. You should just call that shit for what it is. You lost to Errol Spence. Just leave it at that. You lost. And for Errol Spence to say something in response after you done repeatedly and your father, Angel Garcia, they both going on record completely saying they just dismissing this shit like, man, Errol Spence only won because of depression. If you would have seen Danny Garcia, the same Danny Garcia that fought Ivan Redkach, that Danny Garcia would have beat Errol Spence, and it's all just because of depression, all because of it. If they doubling down on it, they standing on top of that excuse, and they doubling down on that excuse. They not giving Errol Spence his credit for all the hard work that he put in coming off of the accident. If he wouldn't have had the accident, he probably would have defeated Danny Garcia in more dramatic fashion. He probably would have knocked him out. But for you just keep on doubling down on the depression excuse for the reason why you lost against Errol Spence, as a warrior mentality, how you gonna say you a warrior mentality and a boxing fan and not really focus on that part, but just focus on Errol Spence part, saying, look, man, people depressed when they broke, not when they rich. That's what you focused on from that tweet message. No, I 100% agree with Errol Spence. You can be depressed and you can be rich. You can be depressed and you can be poor. Depression is depression. We all human going through a human experience. But when you're talking about these two fighters putting their life on the line, don't use this depression excuse for why you lost to the better man. Just say you lost to the better man and get off the excuse, because don't nobody want to hear your excuse. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you talking about you depressed. There's so many people that's going through way more depressional shit, to when you hear a warrior, his stories are supposed to be motivational, where yeah, you rose to the occasion. You faced depression, but you rose you rose above the depression, and you still were able to maintain. That's what people want to hear. People want to be motivated. People want to hear you sitting there using a sob story, standing on top of your soapbox, talking about, oh, I only lost because of depression. You lost because you lost to the better fighter, and leave it at that. And for you to be talking about Errol Spence like, oh, he sound like he drunk and he don't look motivated to fight Terrence Bud Crawford after the Frank Martin fight, he just gave me the energy or the vibes that he didn't want to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Where's you getting that shit from? That's just, to me, you just going out your way to hate on Errol Spence for no fucking reason. What vibes is he giving you that he don't want to fight Terrence Bud Crawford at the Frank Martin press conference? His man just won in a dramatic fashion, and he stayed focused on him. He didn't go talking about himself like, you know, a Mayweather would do. There's been nothing from Errol Spence that showed me that his tail is tucked, period, point blank. And for him to just defend himself and defend his win against Danny Garcia, let that man defend himself. You can't keep attacking that man's victory and using the depression excuse as a reason that you lost, and then taking away all that man glory and credit. And then to say, what if he would have lost after the car accident? This is what Rebel Life said. What if he would have lost after the car accident and he would have used that as an excuse? People want to hear that. Well, he didn't lose. The point is, he came back from a car accident and he won and he dominated. So if he would have lost, if he would have lost and he would have used that as an excuse, that shit would have been lame. But that ain't what happened. He won. If he would have lost with the detached retina against Jordanus Ugas, if he would have lost and he would have used that as an excuse, that shit would have been lame. But he didn't lose, and he didn't use that as no excuse. He won, and he won in dramatic fashion. Just give a man his credit and his props. Everything he do, you got to find a way to make it look lame. The shit that Terrence Bud Crawford do looked a little bit more lame to me when he talked about, oh, all of a sudden, Jose Benavidez got 2 legs now. That wasn't no cool tweet. That was a lame tweet, because Danny Garcia beat Jose Benavidez, and he damn near beat Jose Benavidez just as well as you beat him. The only difference is he didn't knock him out. And the only difference is Danny Garcia is not the elite level fighter as Terrence Bud Crawford, especially when it comes to his footwork. If Danny Garcia would have had better footwork, a little bit more power and punch selection, he probably could have got David Benavidez out of there he could have got him out of there in 12 rounds. What Terrence Bud Crawford did to Jose Benavidez really wasn't that impressive. Great fight, great knockout, I salute. Danny Garcia comes out, you know, they fighting at 154. Danny Garcia goes 12 rounds, and Terrence Bud Crawford tweets, oh, I guess he got 2 legs now. And I'm reading through the comments. This was on E-Thriller Black Picasso. You know what I'm saying? Tweeted Terrence Bud Crawford's tweet, showed his tweet on the YouTube. And I'm reading through the comments, and half the people that's supposed to be Bud fans, they didn't even know they didn't do none of their research on Jose Benavidez. They didn't even know his story is how they didn't know when he got shot. They didn't know how many fighters he had in between his being shot and fighting Terrence Bud Crawford. Half the guys didn't even know what they was talking about. So they was like, oh, I didn't know that he had two tune-up fights before he fought Terrence Bud Crawford. Oh, I didn't know when he got shot. So Jose Benavidez losing to Terrence Bud Crawford, good for Terrence Bud Crawford for getting that knockout. It was dynamic. It was great. But to him to tweet to Danny Garcia or whoever he tweeted to, oh, I guess he got 2 legs now because he didn't get knocked out by Danny Garcia. Well, great. But that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, in my opinion. I take that same Jose Benavidez and put him in a ring with Errol Spence that was against Jordanus Ugas, and Jose Benavidez would have been out of there. Period. 6 rounds, 7 rounds. He would have been out of there. Or he would have been his face would have been broken, his ribs would have been broke. He would have been broken down. He wouldn't have went the same 12 rounds that he went with Terrence Bud Crawford, in my opinion. So I don't understand where that came from. Terrence Bud Crawford to tweet he got 2 legs. Danny Garcia just beat the same dude you beat. But Danny Garcia got completely dominated by Errol Spence coming off of a car accident. So Errol Spence dominates Danny Garcia coming off the accident. Danny Garcia just beat Jose Benavidez, and he didn't knock him out. The only difference is you beat Jose Benavidez and you did knock him out. Your tweet should have been more like, salute to Danny Garcia, that's a great win, period. But you talking about, oh, he got 2 legs, as if he just went there and fought Errol Spence and went 12 rounds and didn't get knocked out. That would have been a little bit different. But he went in there and fought against Danny Garcia and got outboxed. Danny Garcia outboxed Jose Benavidez, just like you outboxed Jose Benavidez. Only difference is you got better footwork and a little bit more power and you knocked him out. Kudos to you. But that ain't got nothing to do with Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Errol Spence would have destroyed Jose Benavidez, just like he dominated Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia just beat the boy that you beat. So you still ain't really got nothing that you proven off of that. That's my opinion. That don't make no sense to me. He got 2 legs now. Jose Benavidez is not on that highest level of an opposition. He just proved that because he just got beat by the same opponent that was completely dominated by Errol Spence. So you just add that all up and it still looked like Errol Spence is the dominant out of all those guys. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. This is Nocturnal Thoughts, man. I salute. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. And if you don't like nothing I said, you can hit the thumbs down. It is what it is. I'm gone. Bow, bow, bow. Salute.